What's up, guys? Bringing another one. I'm getting a few messages about what tools do you use the most? Which tools should I go for? What should I start with? I think you can get varied answers on that. Depends on what you're doing the most of. Are you doing a lot of flooring? Are you doing this for work? Are you doing it for hobbies? What kind of hobbies are you into? Are you building items? Are you changing things in the home? Renovations, upgrading, renewing, whatever it is that you're doing, is going to change the type of tools you need. But for a lot of stuff that I do, and I don't do just remodels in the house. It's just that's what I'm kind of involved with right now. It's the honey-do list I've been getting a lot of. One of my favorite tools and one I go to all the time, I'm always pulling out my jigsaw. I love this thing. It was actually a really good price. I think I paid, gosh, I think it was like 180 bucks or 200 bucks for this tool. I don't think it was more than 200. This is one of the best ones that I have ever used. So they do have the Dewalt Atomic. From when I bought this, I looked up the specs. It's not as powerful as the 20 volt max. So I ended up buying the 20 volt max battery kit. I was at Lowe's one day, not sponsored or anything. It could be if you want. But they had a pack there. I got 4 batteries. I got two 3 amps and two 4 amps for 200 bucks. So that was really good. These batteries last a very long time. They can be refreshed by battery companies if you have one near you if you needed. I don't know how many years it takes for them to wear out. I obviously don't use this as a contractor, so these should last me virtually a lifetime. So that was worth it. They're all interchangeable. You buy the 20 volt max stuff, you just pull it out here, snaps in. It switches to another one. What I like about those batteries too is there's a little indicator light there. You push the battery and it lights up how much power you have. So again, this jigsaw, I'll kind of go over some of the features of it, why I like it the most. So there's a little slider right here. You slide this over your fence here. Right now we're at 90 degrees. That fence will articulate left or right a full 45-degree cut. I don't use that a whole lot. If you're doing trim pieces, I think you might use that quite a bit, like around your trim molding and stuff like that. But when it comes to trim molding, I still plan on using at least a miter saw to get a lot of those really fine detail cuts. And I don't think it would be any faster to use this. What I think this is faster for is those custom cuts that are always different, where I'm going to be cutting always a 45-degree, and I want it exactly flush. And I'm very meticulous on things. Now, when I look at those trims, when I come home, I'm going to see those every day, and I want them to actually be touching really, really tight. So I'll use a chop saw for that. But when it comes to other custom cuts that I need to get around something, the jigsaw is my go-to. Also, this actually works really well for me for 4x8 sheets. Now, I do have a table saw. I don't mind using a table saw. I like it a lot. But when it comes to those 4x8 sheets, and I'm just one person, a lot of times, pulling those things through is a pain in the butt. So if it's a long rip and I want to rip that 4x8 sheet, the 8 length way, I'll actually set it on its side and I'll rip it down with this jigsaw first. It's a lot more manageable that way. Or even if I cross cut it, I'll cross cut it with this. I don't feel like pulling the circular saw out. I don't pull my circular saw out because that's one of the only two tools that I have that are still corded, and I just hate pulling it out. I've gotten so used to these batteries on the tools that I am just, for first world problems, I just don't feel like plugging it in. So I'll rip it down with this first. Then I'll take a table saw and get my really clean exact cut, kind of like this bench that we made over here. A lot of those cuts came off the table saw. So the other feature you have a dial right here is going to change the angle of your blades. So right now I'm straight up and down. So depending on the material you're trying to cut, you can either have your blade straight up and down, or it's going to come in at an angle. So it's either going to come in straight down like this, or it's going to do a swooping action like this, depending on the type of material that you're cutting and what you need. The other thing that's nice is you have a button lockout right here. So when it's locked, nothing will happen. So if you have kids running around, or if you're in a contracting job and you're going to throw your tools down, it's going to be in a box of things, whatever the reason is that you don't want this thing to engage on you, or if you're climbing up into a hard to reach area and you don't want to hit it yourself, and maybe I would recommend taking the blade out before you carry it around like that, because it's really easy to put in on this one. That's my favorite feature. I'll get to that. Whatever the reason is, you can lock your trigger out, unlock it, it's back to working. It has, I think it's 2 LEDs actually in this one. Yeah, you have an LED on both sides. So what's really nice about that is you can see your work Also, the exhaust that comes out of this, it's battery powered, but there is like a fan exhaust that comes out of the work. So what it does, it pushes straight out this area. So as you're cutting material, you're gaining all those shavings, right? Well, your light is helping you see through those, and that blowing action is actually going to keep your workplace clear. It's going to blow that stuff off of where you're at. So that's really nice. So we covered the fence, 0 to 45 degree, both sides. We have the straight up and down to the angle cut option. You have your battery, your trigger lockout with your button right here. We have the 2 LED lights. We have the blow action to keep your material clear. There's 7 different speeds here. So, and what I like is it'll even change mid piece, whether you're just, as you're going through and you notice it's a little bit harder, a little bit softer material, whatever's going on. You may want the speed to go quicker, so you can actually change that even while you're cutting. So for example, here's starts on 1, so it's nice and slow. And you can ramp it all the way up, depending on where you're going. I usually have it on high, it just works for me. The last thing, probably not the last thing, but the ergonomics of this is actually really well. I never get fatigued. My forearms always feel really good after I'm done. As far as like they don't burn or they don't hurt or anything, the tool is really not that heavy. I usually try to go with one of the lighter batteries, especially with this thing as I'm moving around and everything. I have a scroll blade on here now. What's also awesome is you can put metal cutting blades on here. You can put blades that'll cut through wood and nails, whatever it is. If you're going to cut PVC pipe, plastic pipe, vinyl plank flooring. Really, it's all materials. It's MDF, it's wood, it's hardwood, softwood, metal, plastic, PVC. I probably already named it twice. It's all materials. It'll run through them. This thing I never notice it getting hot. Never notice it powering down. One thing that's also nice, when the battery starts to get low, your light will start flashing. Once you pull the trigger, it'll flash a couple times, and then it'll continue to cut. And if you're in the last bit of that cut and it dies on you, give it a couple seconds, hit the trigger, you probably get right through that last part of your cut if it starts to do that. So a lot of the batteries now, what they're doing, when they're going low, they don't just slowly get weaker and weaker and weaker. They pretty much run at 100% and then just dump off, and they're done. So you get the most out of your batteries before the end. But on this Jigsaw, I've noticed that if I give it a couple seconds, I can pull the trigger, get a few more feet out of it, and then maybe finish my cut and then go change my battery. So the last thing I was going to say, my favorite part is the no tool blade change. So it's really awesome. You just pull this up right here, the blade pops out just like that. And just as easy, you just put your blade back in, let go, it's locked in. You can tug on it if you want to make sure, but this locked in. And it works really, really well. Now there is an attachment that comes with this. I don't have it out here. So just like your circular saw, there's a little bar that runs through here with a fence on the side. So if you want to run along a piece and make sure you get a fine cut, you can have that long rip cut or cross cut, whatever it is that you're trying to do, and get an actual guide along the edge. I usually will chalk my line or draw my line out, and I just follow the line. For what I'm always pulling this out for, that always works. If not, you can put the fence on. I think supposedly there was coming out with another attachment that the fence would wrap around the front. I'm not sure what you would use that for yet. I've seen some pictures of it, but I haven't seen that attachment out. I've been watching for it. I don't know if it's a actual attachment or what else it's going to hook to, but now a drywall cutout tool, you would have a fence like that just to make sure you don't go too deep. So I'm not sure what you'd want that for, but the normal one that it comes with is a fence that comes out the side and it runs along your piece. Now, some models supposedly didn't come with the fence, so look at your box details, see if it does or doesn't come out with it. I bought this earlier this year in 2020, probably around February, and mine came with it. I did not get the one with the battery though. It was just the tool and the fence. There may be an option where it's a tool, battery, and no fence. I'm not sure. This is the one I needed. I didn't need to pay the extra to get a battery with it because I already had batteries. All right. If you have any questions about it, let me know. That's all the features of it. I have enjoyed it enough to where I have no desire to upgrade or change to a different brand. I actually like this one quite a bit. All right, guys. Again, help me out. Like, subscribe. Not endorsed by anybody. Not getting paid. Just enjoy doing it. It's kind of a little bit of a hobby now. Just kind of show people what's going on. Hopefully help somebody with their projects. Not always having to contract out to someone else. No disrespect to the contractors, but Sometimes there's a few jobs you want to do on your own. Maybe relax from work, go out and build something. It's really good for your mind, really good for a lot of people. Again, like, subscribe so other people see it. Thanks, guys. Take it easy.